Hello and welcome to the Falcon Crest Aftershow here on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr, your host and Falcon Crest fan. Welcome to the show. If you're not following us, go ahead and follow us on JLJ Media on YouTube or JLJ Media on any platform that you like. If you're on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, find us on the JLJ Media, like us, subscribe, follow, get all my shows, or go ahead and look for Falcon Crest After Show. Type that in wherever and follow that, and you'll get notifications on the new episodes. Right now, Fridays, like the show is on Fridays in America, Fridays they'll be out and a new episode. There might be some featurettes in between, but Fridays you can get a new episode every time. This is my third episode. I want to thank you so much out there for the positive response, overwhelmingly positive response of you liking this show, my first two episodes. Thank you. I really appreciate it. The first episode, I talked about why I'm doing the show. Second episode, I talked about why I like it. Now we're going to talk about its ratings, the TV ratings in America, especially. But we talk about, we're going to relate that to like the facts of why the show was successful, maybe why it wasn't as successful as the others. We're going to tie it all in. Trust me, we'll tie it all in. I also want to thank all the Falcon Crest Facebook groups. Hi, you guys out there who are sharing it and talking about it and liking it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And the Reddit groups. I noticed they're watching the show too. So thank you out there in Reddit. And I appreciate it very, very, very much. I'm going to try to do the show justice for you guys. Let me know what you think, what you have been so far. That's, of course, that's on right now. But let me know what you think as we go along so far. Give me suggestions. I'm gonna try to talk about everything in this whole series. We can go on for years with this, so we got plenty of time. We're gonna work it on during its 40th anniversary of when it first started. We get some my tea. Wrong side, sorry. Oh, Falcon Crest mug. I gotta find a Falcon Crest mug. If you guys know where I can find a Falcon Crest cup or mug, let me know. It's like I want to have it so I can have it for the show. Or a Falcon Crest. I don't have any Falcon Crest t-shirts or anything. If you know any Falcon Crest merchandise, let me know. Okay, in the ratings. In the US in the 1980s, it aired on Friday nights. I remember it was Dukes of Hazzard at 8 o'clock, Dallas at 9, and Falcon Crest at 10. Now, for some of you guys may not know this or not remember, but Friday nights were considered a dead zone on television. You throw anything on it and see what happens. It wasn't considered as important as some of the other nights of the week, say like a Sunday or a Monday or a Wednesday or Tuesday or Thursday. In the 90s, ABC started TGI Friday with the younger programming, and that worked from like 8 to 10. That totally worked. They had 4 shows, totally worked. But for the most part, Friday's just kind of like, here you go, some shows, see what happens. Whatever happens, happens, which I think helped Falcon Crest stay on the air longer than maybe it would have if it was on another night. It was successful in a time slot I think it was meant to be in. I felt it should be on later. It was a much more adult show. We went adult, I think anything X-rated, but it was a much more sophisticated adult show. And a lot of people who like soaps got the big, outrageous Dallas stuff, and then it gets slow down into solid storyline and old world charm of Falcon Crest. Now, if you remember, season 4 on, it aired opposite Miami Vice. You remember how big Miami Vice was. That was much more an iconic show and everything. It was a big show. And it still held its own on some level with an audience. Now, I'm going to do the ratings, and I'm going to tell you a little snippet on some of the ratings. So we're going to kind of give you an idea of how it did. In its first season, it was number 13. Here's an ironic thing. It was higher than Dynasty's first season. Dynasty famously became popular after they added Joan Collins in the second season. But it's ironic, and Dallas was number 1 that year. Had a Who Shot JR and all that coming off of. But it literally was number 13. It was above Dynasty. Strange that. Season number 2, it moved to number 8. It moved to the top 10, where it stayed for the next 3 years. It was above Knots Landing that year. The third season was number 7. That's the highest it ever went in terms of, we're talking season ratings. Now, there were times when it went higher and, week to week. But for the whole season average, these are season averages. 'Cause I know a couple of times it was like in the top 3 during the week. But it was number 7 in the ratings that year. In the 4th season, it was number 10. That was the last time I was in the top 10. Dynasty was number 1 that year. Dynasty finally toppled Dallas and was the number one show of all time that season. 5th season is number 24, still respectable. And here's what's funny: in the 6th season, it went up a notch. It was number 23, and it was above Dynasty and Knots Landing. It was the number 2 soap of all the soaps at night. It was number 2 after Dallas. So people were watching it. There was something going on. People were watching it. The number 7, let's see, the season 7, it dropped to 42. Season 8 dropped to 52. And then voted most ruined show in 1989 or 1988. Its last season was number 81. Ooh, like just dropped. I liked the controversial last season. We will cover that last season on this show. Don't worry, we'll get there. We will. So here's some things I'm thinking about. It was so many of the seasons, it was above other soaps that still got more attention. Don't know why. I don't know why I was there. I don't know why the other show that show didn't get as much attention. Falcon Crest was like classic soap opera. I don't know why you didn't get enough attention. In 1984, Jane Wyman won a Golden Globe for lead actress in a drama series. That's something good. In 1989, it won a Primetime Emmy, I'll make sure I read this correctly, for outstanding achievement in music composition for a series, dramatic underscore. Ooh, that's good for a soap. And several years, it won the best foreign series from the TP de Oro Awards in Spain. I don't know what TP means. If you guys know what that means, you can tell me. I know oro means gold in Spanish, but it's some awards, so that's great. Season 9, of course, which we'll talk about in another episode. Jane Wyman's health forced her to not be on the show as much as she could have. She returned, towards the end. And there are also people asking the question now, because to me, it followed Dallas. So on TV shows, a lot of times they say, okay, we have a popular show as the lead-in, which Dallas was. How much can you keep of that audience? That kind of contributes to your success, how long you stay on the air. The plan is to have a successful block of shows, right? All the shows are hits. They all do fine. That's the goal. But like I said, for many of these seasons, it did pretty well and did better in the ratings of the other soaps. There was Flamingo Row. It did better than that. There was the Colbys, Dynasty 2, the Colbys did better than that. There was other shows. And it inspired a parody called Fresno. It's about raisins. So it was a fun. So it was a cultural thing. It just wasn't as flashy as some of the others. People were asking, should have they crossed over with lead-in Dallas? Should have they done have some Dallas characters come on? Part of me thinks, wonderfully fun for us. I love crossovers, the universe, but it has to make sense, of course, for me to really enjoy it. Sometimes doing things for the sake of doing things can be ruined and wasted. Is it desperate? Would it have seemed desperate if they tried to bring on Dallas? Like they can't keep their own show up. It's kind of like, well, in a way, they're their own. The tone of Falcon Crest was so different than the tone of Dallas. It wasn't Dallas with grapes, not in my opinion. It's very different. I personally think Knots Landing would have been more suited for a crossover because Knots Landing's in California, and so is Falcon Crest. Knots Landing's in Southern California, Falcon Crest in Northern California, and Falcon Crest had land stuff. So to see Abby with Angela Channing or Abby with Richard Channing, Michelle Lee's Karen talking to Lance, I'm talking to Maggie. I could see that would have been interesting, even though it's different nights, but that could have been interesting, a little crossover, and to me would have made sense. But of course, you don't want to try to you can't rely on crossovers forever. You have to make sure you have a good story and make sure that it works on its own. Crossovers are fun if both shows are doing really well. And you can kind of watch back and forth. Right now, Bold and Beautiful and Y&R, Young and Restless are doing crossovers. Both shows are successful. That's kind of why it works. People watch both shows and it kind of works. So I think it's very interesting. fun of it. So I don't know, but again, I like Falcon Crest, and so I just want to show you the ratings part. So in the ratings, it did pretty well. I would say for the first 7 seasons, first 6 seasons for sure. The A season went to 52. It's out of 100 shows, so it's kind of still almost on the good end of it. The ninth season, obviously, disaster. But I'll say 1 through 8. It held its own in a crowded field. And also remember, Falcon Crest wasn't this young hip show. It wasn't super flashy or iconic. It's iconic in certain ways, but not in the ways of like Dallas and Dynasty they were so over the top and big. Because even Knots Landing, which I don't do that after show, there's an after show for that called the KL Rewatch Podcast. You can find that where you find podcasts. My friend KCM do that. Um, that show wasn't flashy really either. They did a few things like Falcon Crest. They all did a few things to kind of spice it up, but it wasn't this huge flashy over the top thing, which I like about that. I don't need flashy over the top. So I just want some good drama, right? And Falcon Crest was good old fashioned drama. That's why I liked it. I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me at James Lott Jr. everywhere. It's the Falcon Crest After Show. We will see you next Friday with a new episode of this After Show. Thank you. Good night.